Here we are at part 5. So you're starting with your third finger on the 3rd fret of the A string and your second finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. Your first two notes are a 3rd fret on the A and an open G. And then the A and D together with the 3rd fret and the 2nd fret respectively. 3rd fret A, 2nd fret D. And then you're just going to climb right up the strings here, the A, D, G, B. So all together, that sounds like this. Moving on, you're going to put your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. But your first note is going to be an open D string. And then you're going to slap the big strings. And then an open D and an open E together. And then an open D and a 3rd fret on the B together. And then 1st fret on the B by itself. Slapping the big strings. And then you're going to do a 1-note hammer-on from the open B string to the 1st fret on the B string, which means that it's going to sound like 1 note even though you're playing 2. So all of that together sounds like this. Moving on, your 3rd finger goes to the 3rd fret of the big E string, and then you play an open B after that. And then you slap the big strings, and then put your 2 finger on the 2nd fret of the G, and you're going to play the 3rd fret on the big E and the 2nd fret on the G together. And then 3rd fret on the big E, and then an open G. Then you're going to slap the big strings. Then you've got a hammer on from the open G string to the 2nd fret on the G string, and you're going to do that as 2 notes. So all of that sounds like this. Moving on, your 3rd finger goes to the 3rd fret of the A, and then you play an open G after that. Then you slap the big strings, and you have a 3rd fret on the A and an open G together 2 times in a row. And then your 2nd finger on the D string, slapping the big strings, and an open D. And all of that together sounds like this. Moving on, you have a 3rd fret on the A again and an open G. And then you're slapping the big strings. And then a 3rd fret on the A and an open G again. Then the 3rd fret on the A. And then the 2nd fret on the D. Slapping the big strings. And then 3rd fret on the A. All of that together sounds like this. Moving on, you have an open D, and then you're slapping the big strings, another open D, and then your 1st finger is on the 2nd fret of the G string, and your 3rd finger is on the 3rd fret of the B string. And then an open high E, and then you're going to hit the 3rd fret on the B while you slap the big strings at the same time. And then an open D. So all of that together sounds like this. Then you're moving that 3rd finger to the big E. then slapping the big strings, 2 E's on the 3rd fret, and then you're got a 1st fret on the B string, and then 1st fret on the B string and an open E while you slap at the same time the big strings, and then an open high E. Then you have the 3rd fret on the A string, and you're slapping the big strings, and the 3rd fret on the A string twice, and then the 1st fret of the B string with an open G and a slap all at the same time, and then an open A. So all of that together is like this. Moving on, we've got some strumming happening, which means your right hand thumb is going to strum through strings. So your 3rd finger goes on the 3rd fret of the D, 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the G, 1st finger, 1st fret of the B string, and then you're strumming through all of those down, and then a down up. And then your 2nd finger goes to the 2nd fret of the D string, and you're strumming through that with 3 open strings after that, the G, B, and E all being open, and then a down up. So all of that together sounds like this. Moving on, we're back to the chorus for some things that are familiar. So you have an open D, and then the 1st fret of the B, and then an open E with the slap on the big strings, and then you're going to play an open D and slide the 3rd finger from the 3rd fret of the high E to the 5th fret of the high E, like this, and then 1st finger to the 3rd fret of the high E and an open D at the same time, an open high E, 3rd fret on the B string and a slap of the big strings, and then an open D in the 1st fret of the B. So all of that together is like this. Moving on, you're going to take your 3rd finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the big E, and your pinky finger is going to go to the 3rd fret of the B string. You're going to play those at the same time. And then an open E and slap the big strings. And then 3rd fret on the big E. And then the 3rd fret on the big E. At the same time, you're playing the 2nd fret of the G. And then 1st finger goes to the 1st fret of the B, and you're going to slap the big strings at the same time, and an open E. So all of that sounds like this. Moving on, we have a 3rd fret of the A and a 1st fret of the B, open E, slapping the big strings. Then you're going to have a bar over the 3rd fret, and then the 5th fret of the high E played with the pinky, 3rd fret of the A and 3rd fret of the high E, and then the 5th fret pull off to the 3rd fret of the B, and then when you get to the pull off, you're going to have a slap, and then 3rd fret of the A and 5th fret of the G. All of that together sounds like this. 3 and 4 and 3 and 4. 3 and 4.